Okay, lovelies, let's chat. So for today's video, I'm going to be recounting to you my experience at VidCon, and as you can probably tell already, this isn't really a vlog. I had intended it for it to be a vlog, but all of the clips I was getting were just terrible. They were really boring. I really didn't like them very much. So I thought that I could recount my experience to you through this way, and plus actually in 2013, this was how I did my VidCon experience video then, so it's kind of like full circle, I guess. So VidCon had started on Wednesday, and the night before I went to a Dodie Clark concert and I got to meet her, and she was so sweet and so lovely, and we just had a really good time. Here's the selfie of that, hey. But that meant that I was really tired. I didn't get into bed until like 2 in the morning because we left like 11:30, I got home at midnight, and then by the time I was packed and ready to go, it was like 2, and then I had to get up at 5 so that we can get ready to go. I was so tired, and then we found out that nothing was really happening on Wednesday, which was really crappy, to be honest. The only person that I met on Wednesday was Greywick, and I'm not going to share that selfie just because they have a tendency to be not super comfortable about posting selfies of themselves. Plus, after I had taken the selfie, they were like, oh, I look so bad. So I don't really want to make them feel uncomfortable by posting it, but I did meet them. They are an artist on here and on Instagram that I really, really like and who has inspired the way that I do my art. So like, it was really cool to meet them, even if it was brief and I was like awkward because me. And then Thursday I met a whole bunch of other people, and they were all really, really nice. I'm just gonna go through quickly all of the selfies that I took with them in a quick little slideshow that you can see. Okay, so I really enjoyed meeting all of those people on Thursday. It was super, super cool. I've met a couple of them before, and they were just as lovely as the last time. I just felt really bad about meeting Evan and the odd ones out because they were kind of in a rush and people were stopping them. So I kind of was like, I can just pop in and, you know, get a really quick selfie. I wanted to be as quick as possible and not keep them for any longer than necessary. But if they had just been straight up walking away, I would have just left them and let them be. But I just felt so bad because I knew that they were in a rush, and I was just like, I'm sorry, forgive me. And then Friday was really the start for me for VidCon because it was the day that I was actually going to meet and greets, and I was meeting 3 of my favorite people. If you haven't seen the last video, which I will link down below and up in the little corner here, hi. I drew 3 drawings for Thomas Sanders. I almost flipped you off. Thomas Sanders, Tom Scott, and Phil DeFranco. And Friday morning, I went to go meet Tom Scott at 9:30. So I originally had actually gotten there at around 9, and I waited in line for maybe an hour or so. And what I'm gonna do is pop into the corner over here, and then I'm gonna have the clip that I got from someone thankfully and wonderfully recording it for me, and to kind of explain to you what's happening. And I'm also gonna be watching it on my phone here. Okay, so I'm walking up to Tom Scott here, and I briefly just say hi, and then we hug, and I tell him that I like his videos and that kind of thing, and then I'm gonna show him in a moment the drawing that I drew for him. That was the Duck Boy with Backsire, and I'm sorry that I keep looking in the viewfinder, but he really likes it. He's like, oh my gosh, it's so cool, and he goes to put it off on the side, and then he shows me his phone where Sammy Paul and him have been texting and talking about Pokemon Go, and I'm like, oh my god. And then he is like, oh my gosh, Markiplier messaged me. That's so weird. He's like, he wants to collab and we could play games. So I was like, oh yeah, do it. And then we briefly talked, and there was like this thing about like calming down. It was that kind of thing. We took some standard photos, and that was it. I just said goodbye. He was really, really sweet. And it was just so cool meeting him because I do really like his videos, and I've watched not only his sketches, but I also have watched his last week's like all the time. So there was that. And then in between that, I met a couple other people, some that I've met before, some that I never met before. Again, I'm gonna quickly flash them across the screen just so you can see who I did in fact meet then. They were all really, really nice, and it was especially nice to meet like Catrific and Bobby Mars because I actually subscribed to Bobby Mars when he was at like 10K, so like it was before he even hit anything big, and it was just so cool that like I got to finally meet him. And then Kat was just really cool because like I've known about her for a really long time, so it was just like, hey, this is cool. And then 4 o'clock rolled around. The actual meet and greet didn't start until 5, but 4 o'clock rolled around because I wanted to get there as early as possible, and I was going to meet Thomas Sanders. Now, if you don't follow me on Twitter or on Instagram, like my art one, then you probably don't know this background information, but I'm going to try and be brief about it. Basically, I posted that Dear Happy dance video, and both Thomas and Dodie saw it. When I saw Dodie at the concert, we talked about it briefly. It was really, really nice, and she recognized and remembered me. With Thomas, the same thing happened on Twitter, and he actually did a video response of him reacting to the dance, and he cried. Like, he legit had like tears on his eyes.
That ending though, you got me, Natalie. That was freaking amazing. That was really good. That was really good. Emotions.
He reacted to that. We had like an interaction for a few tweets because of that. And on Instagram, on my art Instagram, Natpack, hi, another plug, I tend to post Thomas Sanders art. I don't post it exclusively, but he is someone who frequents my drawing sketchbook. What am I even saying? And I am lucky enough that he notices my art enough times that he has put it in his featured fan art posts more than once. Every time I'm always like, yay, because he hasn't seen all of the artwork that I've done about him, but he has seen a majority of it, so it just really makes me happy that he liked it so much. And so I'm gonna go ahead and pop again into the corner because this video clip is a bit longer than the Tom Scott one, but I will still be talking and pausing throughout this just to kind of explain what's happening. Oh my gosh, I've seen this video so many times I pretty much know it, but like it's a good time. So here we go. So I walk up to Thomas Sanders, he points, and we just have a really good hug. First of all, okay, quick pause. This is the first pause of many. He is so soft. Like, his hair is soft and his skin is soft and he is just so huggable. I love him. But at this moment where I'm pausing right now, I touch his head. Now, I didn't intend to be like, hey, let me just touch the top of your head. I really thought I was just doing this, like touching like kind of the back of his neck, because I wanted it to be like cute, but then I ended up being creepy. So there was that. But we literally hugged for a really long time. But we talked for a while about the dance video, and he's like, oh my gosh, it was so great, you made me cry, ha ha ha. And then I say, well, that was payback for Freeze Your Brain, because he was in Heathers, and I have recently really gotten into Heathers. I accidentally had said Freeze My Brain though, which I was like, he was just saying like, oh my gosh, it's so sweet, like that show meant so much to me, I'm so glad that you liked it. And then I was like, I know, I wish I could have seen it live. And he's like, I know, I need to do it again. And then he goes back to talking about the video. And at this point, he's telling me to tell Zach, who was my dance partner, to tell him as well that he did a really great job. And I'm gonna pause quickly here because at this moment in time, he asks me to remind him of my name. So I was like, Natalie. And then I go, in the video you're gonna see in a second, but I go, and Natpack. And so his reaction is adorable, so we're just gonna sit and enjoy this, so just give it a second.
Oh no, don't. Frustrating. Why I like met something.
So he flips out. He like freaks out. He's like, you dance and you draw? And he's like, oh my god, why are you so amazing? And he's like, this is so cool. And I'm just like losing my own shit, cause like I didn't expect him to have this kind of reaction. And he's like, I love your art so much, thank you. And I'm just like, boy, you're like the reason I'm here. And then we remembered that, oh my gosh, this is a photo op, you have to actually go and take a picture. And so we did just 2 cute, really huggy pictures. I really like the way that they turned out. And I give him yet another hug. And then we're just like, we're at a politeness war at this point where we're just like, thank you, I love you, oh my god, thank you, oh my god, I love you, oh my god, thank you. And then I go to leave, I tell him to have a great day, and then it cuts out after this video, but he's like, oh my gosh, that was my pleasure, and he was like, you made my day. I'm sorry, what? Like, how did I make his day when he makes mine? You know what I mean? And that's what I said too. I was like, you made my day. And of course there's this poor girl who's supposed to be going next, and Thomas and I are still like talking and chatting, and he's just like, oh my goodness, you like whatever. And then I left, and then I was giddy for like the whole rest of the day, and it was just like, oh my god. Oh my god. He's like the sweetest human being on the face of the planet. If you ever get the opportunity to meet Thomas Sanders, holy shit, you will be blessed. So Saturday we got up a little bit later, which was nice because we literally have been getting like 5 hours of sleep this entire trip, and we met a couple other people, not too many. And then once it was like 1:30, 2 o'clock, Christy and I went out to get into line to meet Philip DeFranco. I watch Philip DeFranco all the time. I have been subscribed to him. I subscribed to him actually on my Young channel, which I'm not gonna say what it is just because it's cringy as hell. I'm just gonna start playing this video that's already over here as it should be. And here I am just walking up. Thanks to Christy for filming this for me, and I just talked to him about like being subscribed to him for so long, and then I tell him that I draw him something, and at this point you can see that he's really excited about it. Now he's gonna look off to the side in a moment, but I wanted to pause at this point because there is this rule that you're not supposed to give creators anything when you go to a meet and greet. I didn't know this rule. I thought that you could just give them whatever and it was fine. And especially because mine was just a drawing, it was just paper, it should have worked out, right? For Tomska, no issue, no problem whatsoever. The woman was only just like, you're not getting that signed, are you? I was like, no, I wanted to give it to him. And she's like, okay, that's fine, you just can't have anything assigned. And then for Thomas Sanders is when I learned about this rule, because I had pulled out the drawing, I'm ready and raring to go, and the woman tells me, she's like, oh, you can't give him that. And I was like, what? I was like, I just met a different YouTuber like a couple hours ago and there was no issue. She was like, yeah, you can't give that to them. You have to put it in the box and they have to sort through with their managers first. And I was like, well, can I show it to him? And so then she was like, well, you can do that, but you can't give it to him. So I was like, okay. And Thomas already took the drawing anyway, so it wasn't that big of a deal. I guess from what I learned from a second security guard, she was like, yeah, you're not supposed to give it anything. You're supposed to put it in this box. Which first of all wasn't anywhere to be seen. I don't know what kind of box they were talking about, but she was saying that they collect all of the things that people want to give to creators so that managers can first go through them and then give them to the creators just to make sure that everything is safe. And she was like, because people in the past have given them like tainted poison food and like shit with razor blades in it, and I'm like, oh my god, who's going to a YouTuber being like, let me go and poison them? Like, that makes no sense to me. And so when I handed Phil his drawing, the manager immediately came up and was like, whoa, what are you doing? And I'm just like, boy, I promise I'm not trying to kill Philip DeFranco. I love him too much. So he was just, Phil really likes it. He's like, yeah, I know, I'll give it to you in a sec. But he was just looking at it and he's like shocked. And I'm just like, I'm shocked that you're shocked. What the fuck? And then he was telling me that he was trying to like guess what style it was, but because he didn't want to get it wrong, he didn't say anything. And so then at this point I'm telling him that like ever since watching him, like I've been so skeptical about everything that I see on like online and Twitter and trying not to retweet or reblog things. Christy was getting rid of her gum and shifting things around. That's why she's moving a lot in this point. But that was really what I talked to him, and he's like, yeah, but you should totally be skeptical even of me, because I was telling him that when he covers it, I feel better, I feel safe. And then we just took 2 cute pictures and it was really, really good. And he was just such a sweetheart. I love him to bits and pieces. He's such a great guy. After that, like, we had just walked around for a little bit more and tried to meet a couple people, but it was just getting too crazy, and at the end of it we just left. It was like 8:30 when we finally left, and we didn't get home until maybe a little after 9, and that was that. And it was, I think overall it was a really enjoyable time. Definitely the highlight was meeting all of the wonderful YouTubers that I like love and support for so long. For any Dan and Phil things that you may be curious about, one was that I didn't get the meet and greet for them, obviously, which sucked, and I cried about it because who's a garbage can? And I only got a glimpse of them when I went to go meet Thomas Sanders, and I mean, that was fine. Apparently they were very, very busy, which was why they weren't really seen a lot around the convention in general. And they literally got to VidCon a day late, and they got there like 2 hours before they were supposed to go to their like creator night thing that they were supposed to be a part of. Because they were such a tragic, horrible like travel story that they had to live through. So I didn't get to meet them, I didn't get to see them. Hopefully there's another opportunity in the future. But yeah, that wraps up my time at VidCon. I hope that you enjoyed this style of video. I'm sorry that it wasn't a vlog. I know that I really wanted it to be a vlog, but like I said, I'm not gonna put out something that I'm not proud of, so here we are. If you did happen to like this video, then please do give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see some more videos from me, then please do hit subscribe. I'm going to be posting at least once a week, so please do hit the notification bell so that way you know when I do actually get around to uploading. Thank you again so much for watching, and until next time. Bye-bye.